Hello, we did a tutorial recently on how to make a game similar to Lunclumpot, but this is how to make an entire game. We didn't show you how to make like a game that's like really like that actually has the menus and everything, just the basic game. So I'm using test, which is just a little document I made. Yeah, just for tests, for like testing to see if something works or not. Well, on the first frame, let's just create a rectangle. Then that's its stroke color, which is its outline, and its fill color, which is its inside. So let's create it. Good. There we go. No, let's make it small. Yes. And now let's select all that, stroke and all, and let's convert it to a symbol. And we want to make it let's call it character, and let's make it a button. Okay, and now we've done it. But this is the first frame, so let's delete it. Here we want to put a loading screen. So on this first frame, we want to put some text that says loading. Let's just put loading and just that. Now you want to be aware what kind of text box it is. We want to change it to static text. Input text is if you actually type in the text box, and dynamic text is if it changes with a variable. So now let's just center it a little better. There's an align palette so you can center it perfectly, but I'm not going to use it. But yeah, now on this frame, we want to apply some certain actions to it. I have a special, first I'll tell you that tells what layer and what frame it is, and yeah, you want to make sure you're applying it to the frame, not like a movie clip or a button or something. I have this document here that has all this code in it, so I don't forget it, and this is for a preloader and ActionScript 2.0. Remember, we're using 2.0. Here, we want to, let's get rid of this first. That's just stuff if you want to add like a loading bar and stuff, but that's what, hold on, that's not all. That's what we want to have. That's it. Well, let's start. Sorry, my voice is a little slow. Let's insert a blank keyframe. On it, let's add some text. I'm gonna put Lunclumpot test game. That's good. Now let's add play, and no, I'm gonna do help, not credits, just help. So now let's go to our selection tool. Let's drag these together. Remember, you can use the align palette. Anyway, let's convert the play button to a symbol. Let's just name it play, and remember, it's supposed to be a button. Play. It has to be a button or it doesn't work. Let's do the same with help. We want to make it a button, and let's title the movie clip help. Okay, so now let's add another keyframe. First, on that frame, on the second frame, you want to add stop. If you don't add that, it'll just keep cycling through the menus. But for some reason, it doesn't do that on the loading screen. I don't know why, but we want to add the stop action to the third frame too. Let's actually make that a blank keyframe. Blank. And again, let's add to it stop. And on that frame, let's just make a big rectangle, maybe a square. Oh, I press shift instead of control. I mean control instead of shift. You can hold shift to make an even square. Now let's center it a little better by going to the selection tool, and let's just select all that, stroke and all, and let's name it. Let's convert it to a symbol. Make sure this time it's a movie clip. Oh, just scrolling it up to make it easier to see. Let's make it a movie clip. Make sure it's a movie clip so it can add its own animation. And let's just call it help display. There we go, help display. Let's center it a little better. There we go. Alright, now let's go to align, and we want to select to stage, and this is where we can align it. So we can just do that, and that will center it perfectly. Now let's double click on it, and now we go inside of that so we can edit it. And remember, it has its own animation inside of it, its own timeline. See? Now, let's add the animation so that it changes. Wait, what's the frame rate? Oh, and never mind. Let's lower it to 30. I had it at 120, which is as high as it will go. Well, let's do it at 30. Now on the 30th frame, let's add another keyframe, and see, we add in a keyframe. So on here, we want to add a text that says, let's add, remember we want to make sure, well, actually let's change the color. Well, you want to add here, let's just, you can do anything. Let's do click Lunclumpot, like that. And now, see, we have that applied to all of those frames except for the last one because it's a separate frame. So now let's do drag with mouse on that last frame. See? And we have that on our last frame. Now let's go to frame 60 and insert a keyframe. Now we have that on all of our frames, and that one because it's not a blank keyframe. But I think I just found a glitch. Well, if you play it in slow motion, then you'll see a glitch. But let's change that to, on that last frame, let's change that to get to the end. Like that. And here, let's just add a frame, not a keyframe, just a frame. So now we have a nice animation there. Yeah. So now, let's go back to scene 1. And let's go to, sorry I messed up here. I'm adding the voices first, afterward, I mean. But let's add this code. I'm adding the voices afterward. I was going to do it while I was recording, but I found out after I completely finished the video that I didn't have the microphone on, which is a bummer. But I'm doing pretty well right now, so let's see. There we go. Makes code. Now let's press Command Enter or Control Enter on a PC. I think. Oh, we applied to the play button, not the help button, sorry, but let's apply it. I mean, let's see, we have that animation there. We don't have a button. Let's swap these codes. I copied that and I cut it. Now let's paste that to help. And you can probably figure out how to put a back button on the help menu since I showed you how to create those buttons, but I'm not going to do it right now, just to save time. So now when I click play, nothing happens, but when I click help, it goes to there. See, we have that animation on that frame.